So we are going to be doing more of the classic vinyasa flow. You have those three options of the vinyasa, so it doesn't have to be the fast one. And don't freak out, don't obsess about the breath, okay? I'm going to be cueing occasionally which way you should be breathing. The thing that I want you to remember is that generally upward movements are inhales, and generally settling into a pose or downward movements are exhales, okay? It takes a long time to get the breath and the poses all moving together. There's not a, there is never a class, I think, that I'm the entire class moving the right way with my breath. The most important thing is that you remember to breathe. So I'm just going to shut the door so the dog doesn't sneak in. But we're going to get started. So just make sure that you have 2 blocks, because we're going to be using them today quite a bit. And what do I want to do? I'm just going to pop you guys on mute. How come that won't let me do that? Participants, that's what I want to do. Mute all. All right to you. So we're going to start in child's pose. Okay, you can use a block under the head, or you can use a block under the booty, whatever you need. Take the knees wide. Sometimes I like to start in child's pose by kind of just rocking side to side, feeling into the tops of my feet, feeling into my hips. And then I'll slowly make my way down, okay? It's first thing in the morning. It's not particularly warm. Our muscles, our joints, they need time. So moving into these poses rather than just kind of slamming yourself into them is sometimes nice. And I would say if your head feels like it's not going to come down onto the floor, just take a block underneath the head. Let the elbows rest, let the forearms rest, let the hands rest. Lift the fingers off the mat and then press pinky finger down, ring finger down, middle finger down, index finger down, and then the thumb down. Take a big inhale through the nose. And then just open the mouth and sigh it out. And just do 3 more like that. Big inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out. And every time you exhale, I want you to just really let the body drop down. 2 more. So either staying in this position, or if you want to stretch a little bit deeper, just start to walk one hand and then the other further forwards. So one hand and then the other, one hand and then the other, until you get a nice stretch from the hip to the armpit, from the armpit to the fingertip. This is a really good stretch for the intercostal muscles, the muscles along the rib cage that help us to breathe. It's also really good for the shoulders. You might feel it the most in sort of the armpit area. That serratus anterior, that muscle that I'm going to chat loads about. It's a good stretch for that one as well. And then lift onto the tips of the fingertips. Just feel how that changes the stretch, deepens it perhaps. And then plug the hands back down. Look to the hands first, and then start to pull yourself up into tabletop. Take your time, okay? You might get pins and needles in the feet, so give them a little tap. Finding that tabletop position, so hands underneath the shoulders, draw the knees in so they're underneath the hips. Spread the fingers wide, and then pull the arm bones into the shoulders. Push into the floor so that you get that lift through the tops of the shoulders. You're not collapsing, you're engaging. Broaden the collarbones, look straight down, draw the belly slightly in, lengthen from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Nice, strong tabletop here. Press every part of the knuckle down into the mat. And then start to inhale, let the belly drop. Sit bones rise, gaze up. Maybe not up all the way, rather slightly forwards. And then exhale, round. So pulling the belly button in, dialing the tailbone down, head down. Inhale. All the way back through, sit bones rise, chest comes through the gateway of the arms, and exhale, push the floor away. Good, I want you to keep moving through your cat-cow. Close your eyes and see if you can move with the breath. So this cat-cow breath relationship is what essentially you're doing through the whole practice. Inhaling, moving
moving with the body. Exhaling, moving with the body. Nice, do 2 more. Good, and then meet me back in tabletop. So we are going to be spending a lot of time on our hands with our down dogs, our planks, our vinyasas. So let's warm up the wrists, starting to move in some big circles with the shoulders over the wrists. Keep making sure that you're pressing all the way through the knuckles, okay? So that you're not just dumping into the heel of the hand. And then switch the circle around, so coming the other direction, opening into the shoulders, opening into the wrists. Nice, back to center. You're going to turn the fingertips to face the outer edges of your mat, and you're just going to start to rock from side to side. So this is called planching, when you take the shoulder beyond the wrist. Now I want you to remember this feeling, because in plank, you don't want to have this sensation. So just come over one direction. Stay there for a moment. Your shoulder's going beyond the wrist, and you're getting this deep crease in the wrist. That's not what you want to feel. So just keep moving, feel into that. And I'll just demo what I mean in a plank. So in plank, sometimes people come way too far forwards. Okay, so their shoulders are way too far forwards, and they get that crease in their wrist. What you want is the shoulder directly over that wrist, so you're not getting that sensation. Good, okay, from here, turn the fingertips as much as you can to face the knees, okay? Pete, I know that you have stuff happening with your arms, so you might not even be able to totally straighten it. Just see how far you can go. Keep the palm of the hand facing down, and then just start to sit back. So this is a really nice stretch in the forearms. You might not be able to sit back. Okay? That's actually quite a lot of mobility, but you just want to be sending the weight back. We'll just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 options here, guys. You can either just sit on your heels and shake it out. If that's not possible, just lift the butt. Bring your hands into fists and just do some circles. Okay, just releasing any of that tension, letting it all go. Good, shaking out the wrists. All right, so we're just gonna remind ourselves of those 3 variations of vinyasa. So hands on the mat, spread the fingers nice and wide. Start to tuck the toes. Send the bum up to the sky, draw the belly in. Let's find downward dog. Let the head go first of all. Okay, nice, shake it ahead. Don't even look at the screen, nothing to see. Spread the fingers really nice and wide. Push the fingers into the mat. And then push your belly towards your thighs. Have a nice solid bend in those knees so that you're sending the lowest part of your butt cheek, the part that never sees the sun, up to the sky, trying to get a tan on it. Good, okay, let's inhale high onto the balls of the feet, come forwards into plank. Doesn't have to be a beautiful plank, just find plank, drop the knees. Good, from here, untuck the toes, sit back. Find that little child's pose. Now inhale back into tabletop. Tuck the toes and use your exhale to send the bum up to the sky. Exhale is always downward dog. Good, okay, let's inhale into plank. Let's drop our knees. Untuck our toes, either sit back into that child's pose or we take the weight forwards and we do that little tiny press up. We're hugging the elbows into the side of the body, push back into the hands, tuck the toes, back into downward dog. Okay, third option, forwards into plank as you inhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Take the weight forwards, we're gonna go all the way onto the belly, right? All the way down onto the belly. Hug the elbows in, draw the shoulders back, press feet and pubic bone into the mat, lift the chest. Finding that little back bend. And then we're gonna exhale back to downward dog. You can exhale through child's pose, or you can go straight to downward dog. Make sure you're drawing that belly in. Good. Okay, from here, we're gonna get ourselves to Tadasana. Some of you might feel comfortable walking the feet forwards. You might have to kind of do hands and feet towards each other until eventually you come up to stand. Nice. So coming to the top of your mat, finding that Tadasana, lift all 10 toes off the floor, spread those 10 toes nice and wide, get that whole foot engaging into the mat. Nice. Okay, let's do those sun salutations. Try not to lock out the knees. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, draw the navel in, hinge at the hips, bow forwards. Good, as we inhale, press the hands into the fronts of the shins, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, bring the hands onto the mat. 2 options here, you can step into plank or you can step into tabletop. Then from here, come through that child's pose. Your choice, not child's pose, sorry, vinyasa. You can take that easy variation where you drop into child's pose. You can do that baby press up, or you can do all the way down. And then we tuck our toes and make our way into downward dog. We're just going to take 3 breaths in our downward dog. 3 nice breaths here. You can pedal through the feet. Good. From here, you're trying to get yourself back to the top of your mat. However that works, you might walk the feet and the hands. You might kind of bring yourself up, walk forwards. Then from here, hands come onto the shins or the floor. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Good. We're going to inhale all the way up. Bringing our hands together, down by our sides. Good. Bit of movement. So you're going to grab your blocks. We're actually going to use the blocks quite a bit today. We're going to have a little play with a couple of things. One of the ways of getting into a vinyasa flow is stepping the foot forwards. I'm going to demo this without the blocks, and then I'm going to demo it with the blocks. So often in the vinyasa flow, the teacher will say, lift the right leg high and then step the foot through. Okay, this isn't easy. This is a really difficult transition. And for most people, it looks like this. Doof. Okay, and this is how far they get the foot. So we're going to actually play around today using the blocks under the hands. And this is going to give us a lot of space. So we're going to have our hands on the blocks. We're going to lift the leg, maybe only a little bit. We're going to bring the shoulders forwards, and we're going to try and step the foot through. Some of you, this might not even happen at all. So you just drop the back knee, and then you help the foot forwards. Okay, we're not going to do heaps of this, just a little bit to try it out. So you're still standing, stay where you are. Have the blocks on their flat setting, okay? Have the blocks on their flat setting. Nice. From here, let's inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forwards. Take the hands onto the blocks. Inhale, find length. And as we exhale, right foot stays put. We're going to step the left foot back. Getting ready for triangle pose, but we're going to do it with the blocks. So you might take the blocks onto the higher setting. So start to straighten out your right leg, pull your right hip back, left hip forwards, and then start to fold over that straight leg. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Now, if you have barely any stretch, take the blocks lower, or maybe the hands even onto the mat. That's going to make the hamstring work harder. Good. From here, start to bend in the front knee. Bring your hands onto the blocks flat, okay? Hands onto the blocks flat. And then step your left foot back, drop the knee, and untuck the toe. We're going to inhale, hands come up to the sky, finding that little low lunge. Look forwards. Try not to look at me, okay? The more that we repeat these poses, the less you're going to depend on me, and you can just listen. And then exhale, hands are going to come down onto the blocks. Now, flat setting on those blocks, okay? Tuck back toe, raise back knee, and then step your right foot back. Finding plank, but with the blocks. Good. Take an inhale. As you exhale, drop the knees. Come through your version of vinyasa. Maybe you take that child's pose. Maybe you do that little press up. Maybe you come all the way down. And when you come into downward dog, we're going to use the blocks under the hands. Nice, just feeling into this. Now, everybody look forwards, and let's see how much easier it is to walk the feet forwards. Inhale, once the feet are forwards, find that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, hands come down through center, back to Tadasana. Good, okay, let's do the other side. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, draw the navel in. This is going to protect the spine as you fold. Hands onto the blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Left foot stays put. We step right foot back, toe on a side angle. Straighten that front leg. Now you're gonna maybe use your blocks here, so maybe lifting them higher. Pull left hip back, right hip forwards. Inhale, find length. Then exhale, maybe fold over that straight leg. Try to get those hips as square as you can. If the blocks on their highest setting isn't giving you a big stretch, start to play around with taking the blocks lower. Good. You're going to bend your front knee, blocks underneath the shoulders, step back a little bit more with that right leg, drop the right knee, untuck the toe, lift those hands, finding that low lunge. Press into all four corners of that left foot. Big inhale here. Exhale, hands are going to come back onto the blocks. Tuck right toe, lift right knee. Step that left foot back. Good. Find an inhale in your plank. And then exhale, move through that vinyasa. So knees drop. Taking the variation that works for you. Maybe you just sit back into a little child's pose. And then wherever you are, use the exhale to send the bum up to the sky, using those blocks. Good. Couple of breaths here. Look forwards. Walking the feet, if you can, towards the hands. Once the feet are towards the hands, inhale. Hands can come onto the shins, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good, okay, we're gonna start to add on some other poses. So take an inhale, hands come high. Exhale, we're gonna bow forwards. Hands onto those blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Right foot's gonna stay put. We're gonna step back with that left foot, drop the left knee, untuck the toe. Now take the blocks onto their highest setting. Lift yourself into that low lunge. Nice, okay. We're gonna bring the hands back onto the blocks. You're gonna tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. Now, you might wanna step your back foot a little bit closer. Look at the 2 feet and make sure they're not directly behind and in front of each other. Step so you're about hip distance apart. Then take a baby bend in your left knee. Look forwards, pull the heart forwards. Hands might come onto the hips. You might grab a wall. You're gonna try to bring yourself up. You're squeezing both thighs towards each other. You're actively engaging the left butt cheek, maybe pressing into that back heel. Pulling your right hip back, left hip forwards. If you feel confident, hands come up to the sky. Good, big inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna open into warrior two. So you're gonna start to drop the left toes. They face sideways. Now, look at your right knee. Remember what I was telling you, don't let that right knee collapse in. So push the right knee out to the right, using the outer butt cheek, arms long. Draw the navel slightly in, palms face down. Let's turn the palms to face up so we get that openness in the shoulder, and then just turn the palms to face back down. Good, big inhale here. As we exhale, we're gonna cartwheel, right hand down, take the block onto its flattest setting, and then left hand down. Now from here, spin onto the ball of your right foot and see if you can, or ball of left foot, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing today, and step the right foot back. Move through your vinyasa. You might just take a break. Pull yourself back up, tuck the toes, back into that downward dog. And then once you find your downward dog, you can bend the knees, walk yourself forwards, hands around those blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press into the heels, draw the belly button in. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, hands down to Tadasana. Good, let's see if we can do that on the other side. I'm gonna show you from the back, so you'll see what's happening on the back side body. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, bow forwards. Draw that belly button in. Inhale, halfway lift. Left foot this time stays put. We step back with right. Drop the knee, untuck the toe. Look forwards. Maybe you this time just come straight up into that low lunge. Starting to build that core strength, build the leg strength. You might not be there yet, that's okay. Good. Then you're going to bring your hands back down. Now, I would recommend taking the blocks on their highest setting, but if they're really wobbly, keep them low. Tuck your right toe, lift your right knee. Don't take the hands off the blocks yet. Make sure that the feet aren't directly behind each other. Soft bend your right knee. Start to squeeze the thighs towards each other. Look forwards. If you need the hands on the hips, take them onto the hips. If you want to start practicing by bringing the hands straight up, go for it. You've also got the wall. Okay, use the wall if you need it. Squeeze those thighs towards each other. Draw the navel in. Press into that back heel. Big inhale here. As you exhale, don't let the left knee collapse in. Drop that right foot. Arms are going to open. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Look at that front knee. Make sure that you can see your big toe and your second toe. You're squeezing this butt cheek. Okay, you're pulling it to open up the knee. Press into the outside edge of the back foot and feel this back chunk of meat engaging. Big inhale. This time, left hand is going to come down. Right hand is going to follow. Spin onto the ball of the right foot. See if you can step to plank or just straight to tabletop. Move through your vinyasa. Doesn't have to be fast. You can see how slow I'm moving. Using that exhale to push the butt back up to the sky. Good. From here, push into those blocks. Walk the feet forwards, as forwards as you can come. Doesn't matter if you don't come all the way. Inhale, halfway lift. And then rise all the way back up. Good. Okay, so we have done low lunge. We have done high lunge. We've done warrior two. So we're going to add on, we've got 3 more poses. We've also done pyramid. We're going to do reverse warrior, extended side angle, and triangle. And we're going to try to link those 3 together now. So make sure that your blocks are at the top to help you. Actually, let's take our blocks onto their highest setting, because we're going to eliminate the low lunge. We're going to try to go straight to high lunge. So inhale, hands come high. Exhale, bowing forwards. Hands onto the blocks. Inhale, find length. Okay, from here, guys, right foot stays where it is. We're going to step back with left, but we're not going to drop our knee. So before we go even thinking about lifting, soft bend that left knee, squeeze the thighs together. Look forwards, get the chest to come forwards. Those options are there for you. Hands can come onto the hips, onto the wall, or you just start to play around with lifting the arms. If you get scared, just grab your wall. You're really starting to build all this pelvic stability every time you come up. Big inhale here. As we exhale is when we open into warrior two. Push that knee out to the side. Arms are long. Check that your knee isn't overshooting your ankle. If it is, step the feet further apart. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. Legs, they're in concrete, okay? They're a sculpture, they're not gonna move. Look at the front hand, flip that palm. Left hand is gonna come onto left leg. Right arm is gonna come up maybe 45 degrees. Inhale, find length. Exhale, see if you can reach a little bit further. We'll just do 2 breaths here. Inhale, find length. Exhale a little bit further. Inhale, find length. Exhale a little bit further. Good, okay. Back into Virabhadrasana 2. So back into warrior 2. Leg is still bent. We're gonna drop right forearm down. Okay, let's bring left hand onto the hip to start. Take an inhale, grow through the crown of the head, so lengthen the crown of the head forwards. And as you exhale, just turn your chest upwards. Then from here, take that left arm 45 degrees, palm faces up, and just play around with your shoulder. How far can you get it? Remember, we're looking for a 45-degree angle from the back foot to the hand, so you're not taking that arm too far forwards. Inhale here. Exhale, see if you can turn the chest a little bit more and pull your shoulder further back. Good, okay, we're gonna look down to help with balance. We're gonna rise back up. You might take the hands onto the hips. I'm gonna straighten out that front leg. Should feel really good. Now make sure you're not hyperextending, okay? You're not rocking the knee backwards. Keep a baby bend. Squeeze that walnut, engage the thighs. Okay, so there's this squeeze of the butt cheeks, actively pressing the feet. These muscles, if you poke them, they should be firing. They should be engaging. Arms long, palms face forwards. Looking for that broom, okay? Reach, reach, reach for that broom. Then we're gonna start to tip down. Hand is just towards the inside of that knee. If you want the challenge, look up to the top hand. Otherwise, keep it down to keep your balance. Keep pressing into those feet. Keep the weight equal between those feet. Inhale, find length. Exhale, reach a little bit more. Reach through the ring finger and middle finger of that top hand. Good, you're gonna look down, bend your front knee. Good, arms come back wide. Big inhale here. As we exhale, right hand is gonna cartwheel down first. Grab that block, turn it flat. Left hand onto the other block. Spin onto the ball of the back foot. Step that right foot back. Move through that vinyasa. Okay, vinyasa, remember, translates to special way of movement. Make it yours. Pushing the butt back up to the sky. Let's take 3 breaths in downward dog. Press into those blocks with your hands. Maybe a pedal through those feet. Good. Actively pressing into those hands. Walk, 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 whatever way you can. Eventually come into the top of your mat. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise it back up. And then find Tadasana. Take a moment, close the eyes. So whatever we do on one side of the body, we do on the other. Just find the breath. Check in with how you're feeling. Good. So we're going to do the left side now. Open the eyes. Inhale, those hands come high. Exhale, hinge at the hips, draw the navel in, bowing forwards. Take the blocks onto their highest setting. Press into the blocks. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Okay, right foot's going to step back. Finding that height. You might take the blocks further back so they're under the shoulders. This might feel a little bit more balanced. Baby bend your right knee and squeeze the thighs towards each other. Now look forwards. You might come onto the tips of the fingers of the blocks. Look forward, squeeze the thighs, maybe hands onto the hips. Maybe you bring them all the way back up. You can see the bend in my back knee. This is going to help my balance. As I get stronger, I'm going to start to straighten. Inhale here. Exhale, push the left knee out to the side as you drop your right foot, finding warrior 2. Look down the left hand, down that middle finger. Nice deep bend in that front knee. Flip your front palm, and then slowly start to reverse. So right fingers just rest gently on that right leg. Inhale, find length. Exhale, reach a little further back. 2 more. Good, okay, keep the bend in the knee. Left forearm is gonna come down onto that left thigh. Palm faces up. Now, bring your right hand onto your right hip and just turn your chest up. Then bring that right hand high, turn the palm so that it's going in the direction of the head, and then start to play around with that shoulder. You might stop somewhere above the head. You might be able to come further. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. Squeeze the butt cheeks. You're opening up those hips. Good. And then from here, you're going to rise up. You might take the hands onto the hips to help you get there, and you're going to straighten your front leg. So let's think about what we need to do to get these legs really strong. First of all, let's start with the foundation. Press into the feet. Actively press into the back of the back foot, and pull those muscles up. Squeeze the butt cheeks, feel the hips open. Arms long. Reach forwards, right hip is shooting out, find that broom, and then tip it down. Okay, doesn't matter how low you go. The top hand, I want you to lengthen through ring finger and middle finger, and you should feel a nice stretch all the way down that arm. Good, you're gonna rebend that front knee, start to rise back up. Big inhale here. As you exhale, this time left hand comes onto the block first, then the right hand flattening the blocks down, spin onto the ball of the right foot, step back with the left. Big inhale here. And as you exhale, move through your vinyasa. And instead of ending in downward dog, you're going to end in child's pose. Whew, and give yourself a well-deserved little break. Maybe a block under the head. Maybe a sway in the bum from side to side. Good. And then just gently start to walk yourself up. And we're going to tip onto our bums, okay? Now I'm going to sit on a block because this is going to give my hips a lot more height. Okay, so this is going to give my hips a lot more height. I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and walk my feet in. This is called Baddha Konasana, butterfly. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this pose when we get to the hip section. But you're just going to grab a hold of the feet. We're not going to round forward. So I actually want you to pull your shoulders back. The aim of this is to try to release the knees to the mat. You might look like this. That's okay. You also might need to sit on 2 blocks. So if you feel like you're rounding, okay, so if you feel like you're doing this, sit on 2 blocks. Who cares? Okay, really doesn't matter. So finding whatever height works for you so that you get what's called an anterior tilt. It feels like you can tilt forwards rather than rounding the back. You might be able to reach the foot. Generally, the higher you go, the harder it is to reach the foot. So you can grab onto the shins. Inhale here and then exhale. Just gently coerce the knees down. If you're on 2 blocks, you might even just take your hands onto your knees and just gently press down. Good, let's close our eyes. Inhale, find length. And just exhale gently. See if you can open the hips a little bit more. Inhale, find length. Exhale, see if you can open a little bit more. 2 more. Flutter the eyes open. From here, you're going to walk the feet forward. So you're creating a diamond shape. Now, if you're on 2 blocks, you could probably go on to 1. And then from here, you're just going to round everything and fold forwards. Now, you might be sitting up here. That might be as far as you can go. You might be able to really round into this. Your heels are not close to your pubic bone anymore. They've come forwards. And you've got a bit of a diamond shape in those legs. Head is just heavy. Whew. Head is melting down. Again, just closing the eyes. And then very slowly, like stacking Lego from the lumbar spine, start to bring yourself back up, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Good. From here, we're going to come onto our backs. So moving the block out from beneath the butt, bringing yourself down. And what I want you to do is straighten your legs so that the heels come just off the top of the mat. Bring your arms forwards, round your back like you're a big capital C. And then we're going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. So taking the spine down 1 vertebrae at a time until you can come all the way down. And let's point our toes, interlace our fingers, flip our palms, push the palms forwards, and just take a nice deep stretch here. Lengthening out the body. Good, and then just release that tension. So we're going to come into a restorative inversion. Promise you this is really, really nice. You've worked really hard. So either using a block, or if you have the luxury of owning a bolster, then the bolster is really lovely here. So you're going to bend your knees, place your feet onto the floor, lift the hips. Now, if your bolster's close by, maybe grab it. Otherwise, you might not need it, or it might be too annoying to go grab. You're going to slide the block or the bolster under your hips. Okay? Now from here, you're going to send your legs up to the sky. Now, you're not going to squeeze the legs together. You're going to let them lightly separate. And who cares if the legs are straight? Mine are bent. Then from here, arms come high. Now, let the backs of the shoulders melt. Elbows might bend, fingers might curl. And then just close your eyes. So this is a completely supported inversion. And inversions are anything where your head is lower than your heart. And so in this position, the hips are lifted. So we have that inversion sensation. Inversions, more complicated ones, are arm balances, headstands, handstands. But in this position, you're getting all the exact same benefits that you would be in a headstand and handstand. And just notice the heaviness that you're feeling. Maybe even the breath slowing down. We're just going to stay here for about 10 breaths in silence. And with the arms and the legs above the head, just start to give little twitches, little wiggles in the fingers and the toes. And then really nice and slowly, start to bring the feet back onto the floor, the arms back onto the floor. You're going to lift the hips and just slowly move the block out from beneath you, bringing those hips down onto the mat. Arms are going to come into cactus. Lift the feet off the floor and then drop those knees over to the right. Letting the opposite ear, the left ear, flop to that left shoulder. And just taking that gentle twist. Don't worry if the knees don't touch the floor. And also, if your block is handy, you can take the block underneath the knees as a little support. And then slowly bring the knees back up. And then you're just going to gently drop them over to the left, letting your right ear soften to your right shoulder. Eyes can stay closed. And squeezing the legs back to center. Take your hands onto the knees or the shins. And just give yourself a little squeeze here. Give yourself a little hug for working so hard. And then slowly start to make your way into your Shavasana. So legs extend. If for any reason the legs being straight doesn't feel good, then you can bend the knees. Arms down by the sides, palms face up, maybe even slightly tucking the shoulders underneath you. If you want to, you can take your hands onto your belly if that feels better. And just close the eyes and see how it feels drifting into your Shavasana this morning. Just slowly start to deepen your breath again. And just feel that lovely rise and fall of the belly, that push and pull of the chest. Like you're waking up, emerging. Start to wiggle in the fingers and the toes, reminding yourself of your limbs, that they exist at all. And then just taking one more big stretch, reaching the arms over the head, pointing the toes, taking a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, rolling over onto the left or the right, and using that bottom arm as a pillow. Top hand maybe just comes onto the floor. Knees bent. And when you're ready, you're just going to push the floor away and come to a seated position. You might sit on your bolster or your block, or you might see if you can sit on the floor. Really good comparison, watching as the weeks progress, how just sitting feels. Hands rest on the knees if you want, palms facing down or palms facing up. Lengthen the crown of the head up to the sky, slightly tucking the chin. And just taking a moment, scanning, noticing any small or subtle changes, perhaps in the physical body, in the mind, or in the breath. And all together, we take a big inhale, arms come high. We're going to press the palms together, giving ourselves one more moment of gratitude. Dropping the thumbs to the space between the brow for kindness in our thoughts, the lips for kindness in our words, and then resting our thumbs at heart center for us to carry kindness, compassion, and action through the rest of our day. Opening the eyes. Well done, guys. Namaste. Well done, everybody. Hopefully, you are starting to feel a little bit stronger with all of that repetition. You know, you will get tired, but you will also feel stronger from it.